Artfight is a gift-giving game for artists that features two teams attacking each other throughout the entire month of July for each year. There is a lot to love, but some of my favorite things include the motivation it gives for creating art in general, how it's centered entirely around original characters, and finally, the anticipation that builds each year for not just the actual event itself, but also for the reveal of the New Year's chosen theme. Overall, this had me thinking, how can I bring this energy with me year around? My first year participating was in 2023, which meant I missed out on so many fun things. This also including my top pick of Cyberpunk vs. Steampunk. Why wasn't I there? This is why a time machine needs to be made. Anyway, when themes are revealed, many people actually end up making a character design based off of it. So, if I was to, quotation marks, go back, why not try that out actually and make some character designs based off the favorite pair? It would be a lot of fun, but one must ask, why not make a character design for every single theme that was announced since the site's launch? I think that sounds reasonable. I mean, how many are there even? Starting from 2016, that would make for a total of 20 potential prompts. And that's not counting 2026, of course, for whatever they're going to do for their 10th heckin' anniversary. So that would be like 20 to 22 designs, we'll just say. And I bet I could speedrun this if I really wanted to, but why not add another layer to the challenge? If you're an artist, you may know the importance of art portfolios and improving in areas that are relevant for your own goals. Yeah, this is very applicable for me too, as I want to become a better character designer and have a polished showcase for this journey I'm starting. Because of this, I want to make this into a series. If you want to follow along with me in this challenge and my goal to get better at character design, I would absolutely love if you subscribed. You could even join me with the tag Artfight Themes Challenge. And what I decided I'll be doing is featuring select artwork over this next year. So go ahead and read the description for more information about how you can participate and potentially be showcased. Final thing, I'll actually be live streaming some of this challenge as well, so consider also following me on Twitch if you'd like to hang out and maybe do some art together. It's going to be a comfy good time, I promise. I'm going to be talking to you about my experience with taking on the first two chosen themes of magic versus technology. I'd say a good character design is one that fits the context and scope of whatever it's going to be used for. My criteria for a good design in this case is one that would look good on a portfolio, so extra care for the presentation basically, and also one that fits the prompt for the Artfight Themes Challenge. Thankfully, it's pretty open-ended in this case. What, a single word to base a whole character around? I can do that. The first themes we're starting with are Magic versus Technology, which was the theme pair for 2016, the first year that Artfight's site launched. Technically, Artfight began far earlier, back in 2007? Before that, it was on a forum, and before that, I'm not even sure, but we're not going to worry about it. My steps for a new character design usually include absorbing some initial inspiration from media, getting an initial doodle in, and oftentimes setting up a reference board that captures a general direction I'm shooting for. I actually took inspiration from a video game I was playing at the time, it being called Go Focus with Your Avatar. As the name might imply, it's a productivity second monitor sort of game, but it does have avatar customization, and I did find a few things that stood out to me. I brainstormed how it could tie in with the theme of magic. First thought? Well, a magician's hat often holds significance. Of course, this one is way too tiny for that. But, if anything, I do feel like these elements would still indicate a value for appearances and perhaps a talent for a performance in general. A character that takes center stage, right? That's what I hope to capture with this initial concept art that's been playing. I was actually listening to this song called Folk Rush by Anya Nami, which I definitely recommend you give a listen yourself for later. But it helped me push the flare and of course gave some ideas for what I could do with her lore setup. I was thinking how while a magician is definitely going in the right direction, there's always this potential for escalation out here, and I did have a bit of inspiration sitting in the back of my mind. Yes, it was magical girls and heroes saving the day. If I could just somehow put that in here, perhaps there would be an opportunity to introduce a conflict. See, what if it was a jaded grown woman who had an encounter with a magical mascot-like creature that would grant a wish plus powers in exchange for a person's servitude towards the cause of ridding the world of evil? It could have been a desperate move, and unfortunately for this good-natured creature, this woman here might have not been a perfect match. As this deal was finalized, this professional magician soon gained real powers of illusion plus combat, though it wasn't long before she showed her true colors. After experimenting with her abilities, she went on the attack towards not a monster, but in fact, an ordinary human who, admittedly, does have some horrible qualities deep down, but a human nonetheless. By the end of her quotation marks show, this man was terrorized, and the magician simply would smile with glee as the little creature looked in horror. This performance didn't break any rules, so long as she fulfilled her other duties, but it was definitely unorthodox. Over time, this creature would learn how she worked late nights at a specific bar and how she engaged in vices like drinking excessively and rage obsessing over people online. It was a stark contrast to the otherwise dazzling and perfect persona she played while on stage. She'd fulfill her tasks as a magical girl, though often would continue this pattern of using magic against people with specific traits and backgrounds. As warped as this all would be, both she and even the little mascot would be able to overhear the positive impact she'd have on their lives. So, yes, an anti-hero vigilante lady who does a lot of good surprisingly, if you ignore a few of the details of how she got there. In the final reference, there is 3 drawings I did, one a full body, another one that was a redraw of my initial sketch of her, and finally a chibi of her holding some playing cards, looking a little bit nefarious. With that one, I kind of had this visual that, surprise, she's in your house, she's holding cards, she's going to ask you to pick a card, she's going to do one of those. The next theme is technology. There was a lot of routes to take with this one, though it was actually a song that was the starting ground for this soon-to-be character. It's called What's Going On by Madeline May. Literally, the first line was, I am an alien, so you could only guess where this is going. The other thing that stood out about this song was the energy and silliness of the rest of the lyrics. To summarize it, it's about a person who doesn't really understand humans and feels a bit like an outcast, while also not understanding the bad qualities of people too. Still, they don't really know where their home is and are still hoping to be more like a human themselves. I didn't follow this story one for one, but it'll be good to keep in mind once I talk more about her personality and lore. Just know I had this playing on loop as I went about it. I've actually never made an alien OC before, and by that, I mean something that fits specifically within the greenish skin and antennae trope. Sure, I've done Steven Universe Gem OCs and Homestuck Trolls before, but I don't know, they kind of fall into a different category, I feel. To narrow down the concept a little more, I decided that they'd be a young teenager, as that's often where the concerns of identity and finding your place in the world come in. Finally, the last thing that helped kick off the start of this design was the energetic nature of this song. So I decided she'd be a silly, eccentric alien girl. As with a lot of character designs I do, I like to capture the personality with the sketch first. Here's what the base ended up looking like. From there, it was a matter of hunting down some interesting motifs that I could repeat through her design, as well as other elements that may make it for a recognizable silhouette when time comes for the final showcase art. The easiest one that came to mind was the incorporation of stars, something I initially added to the ends of her antenna. Next was trying out huge braided ponytails to further emphasize someone full of personality and playfulness. Now, these felt pretty standard, like a solid base to work from, though it was definitely missing something. I did manage to find it, however, with this random image here I found on Pinterest. It's a candy wrapper. This was very interesting to me as I would get to play with transparency again, following the magician's design. And it made me imagine a what-if scenario of this alien species recycling plastic by incorporating it into their clothes. There were some other big wins with this idea too, as it gave this sweet, candy-like feeling. And it was a starting point for somewhere I could add additional bows because, yes, I've been an absolute fan lately of incorporating things like frills and bows. Anyway, let me tell you what I came up with story-wise. Annie has always been in her own world, even while on her home planet. Her obsession circles around tinkering and constructing little robots, ones that mimicked the far more advanced ones that served the function of properly looking after her when she had to be alone. I would say this would be a frequent occurrence too, as a note. This all changed one day when the entire planet was under siege. The robot caretakers ushered Annie into a spaceship under the commands sent their way, and soon the ship launched. The coordinates locked in on the next habitable planet, and that would be Annie's new home, Earth. She wondered why she never received a final transmission from her family, or to even know if they survived. Though, as tragic as this entire situation was, Annie had a resilient mind and worked to see the positive. She had the robotic caretaker she's known all her life right with her, and even a spaceship that was personalized to her. She knew she had a lot to learn still when it came to technology, though for now, she'd indulge in her interest while imagining what it'd be like when she arrived on Earth. When she finally got there, she'd often end up wandering to places she shouldn't be and surprisingly being a great conversationalist or at least soundboard for hearing out people's situations and having a literal outsider's perspective. She'd grapple with the fact that she was alone in this world, though it's something that she wouldn't deeply process as she locked in on her enthusiasm for life, creations, and the fact that there was a whole world out there that she didn't know about and that may one day become home, or at least a pit stop once she learned to gain control of the high-tech spaceship that now sits stationary. I absolutely enjoyed making this cutie here, and while not so much of a practical outfit, it did aid in my visual of little robot companions fussing over her to make sure she didn't get in too much trouble, even in getting dirty, for example. Overall, I'd hoped she'd be a pure delight and a sign for enthusiasm and optimism, despite a past that could easily have taken anyone in a completely different direction. And that's Magic versus Technology complete. 2 added 20 plus to be done. I would love to thank all of the members who are supporting this content here, and if you enjoy it yourself, I would love if you join as well.